We are now standing in front of the home where Ramana Maharshi lived from 1992 to 1996, and where on July he had the great experience of samadhi, which never left him till he passed away in 1950. I am in the room where Ramana Maharshi had his near-death experience, July 17, 1896. He described this experience as being a moment where he ceased to identify with the body, ceased to identify with the mind, and for the rest of his life, he only identified himself with the I, with the Supreme Self. Several weeks after this experience, he left MADURAI for Arunachala, and from there inspired thousands and then millions of people around the world to seek illumination, inspired people to realize that they are the Divine Self. 20 minutes in this room changed the current of his life and inspired spiritually millions of people then and now. Ramana Maharshi described himself, what happened July 17, 1896 in this room. And it goes like this. It was about 6 weeks before I left Madurai for good that the great change in my life took place. It was quite sudden. I was sitting alone in a room, in this room, on the first floor of my uncle's house. I seldom had any sickness, and on that day there was nothing wrong with my health, but a sudden violent fear of death overtook me. There was nothing in my state of health to account for it, and I did not try to account for it or find out whether there was any reason for the fear. I just felt I am going to die, and began thinking what to do about it. It did not occur to me to consult a doctor, my elders or friends. I felt that I had to solve the problem by myself, there and then. The shock of the fear of death drove my mind inward, and I said to myself mentally, without actually framing the words, now death has come. What does it mean? What is it that is dying? The body dies, and at once dramatized the occurrence of death. I lay with my limbs stretched out, stiff as though rigor mortis had set in and imitated the corpse so as to give greater reality to the inquiry. I held my breath and kept my lips tightly closed so that no sound could escape, so that neither the word I nor any of the words could be other. Well then, I said to myself, this body is dead. It will be carried stiff to the burning ground, and there burn and reduce to ashes. But with the death of this body, I am dead. Am I dead? Is the body I? It is silent and inert, but I feel full force of my personality and even the voice of the I within me, apart from it. So I am spirit transcending the body. The body dies, but the spirit that transcends, it cannot be touched by death. That means I am the deathless spirit. All this was not dull thoughts. It flashed through my mind vividly as living truth, which I perceive directly, almost without thought process. I was something very real, the only real thing about my present state, and all the conscious activities connected with my body was centered on that I. From that moment onward, the I, or self, focused attention on itself by a powerful fascination. Fear of death had vanished once and for all. Absorption in the self continued unbroken from that time on. Other thoughts might come and go like various notes of music, but the I continued like the fundamental Shruti note that underlies and blends with all other notes. Whether the body was engaged in talking, reading, or anything else, I was still centered on I. Previous to that crisis, I had no clear perception of myself and was not consciously attracted to it. I felt no perceptible or direct interest in it, much less any inclination to dwell permanently in it.